That guy's the infants in here. Philippine Bible Ministry. We see His glory on the mountaintop. We see His glory on the mountaintop. We could just stay there. We just, it's like you think about Peter. Was it John, and James? I think it was John and James, the brothers. Peter, John, and Peter's brother James. And the Lord took him up on the mountain, to probably a big hill. They call everything a mountain in the Bible. It wasn't like a giant mountain. It was like a big hill. And Jesus was transfigured, and Moses showed up, and the prophet Elijah. Elijah showed up. Moses showed up, and this is amazing. And Peter says, "We'll just stay here. We'll build a tabernacle. This is it." And so we've all had those. I've had. Maybe you've had amazing experiences in the Lord, and just like amazing, profound experiences. The kind of experiences that say, "Well, I will give my life for you." Also, it happens in church a lot. Like usually during worship service, and you have this great emotion come up inside of you, and you're like, "This is what I will do. I will, you know." I will do this, this is what I will do. I will stay with you, and I have the power. And some people like Pentecostals and what, they'll get a speaking in tongues or some amazing, powerful, spirit-filled thing in it. They just feel like, I feel the power of the energy. I've been touched, And if you're not Pentecostal, you still have that emotional thing inside of you, or that touch, and you feel like, I'm up on the mountain with God. This is a good place to be. I love you, Lord. I lift my voice I love you, Lord, and I lift my voice to worship you. All my soul rejoice. And you have that moment, right? And then what happens? Well, then you go back. You go back to school. You go back to work. Go back to the valley. Dog poops in the yard. Bad things happen. Your car breaks down. Somebody wants to borrow 10,000 pesos here, 2,000 there, and you have to take people to court. Yeah, the world. And then every day you do the same thing, and then you don't feel like you're doing any. What am I doing? And you just feel life just takes you down, and you get into that valley, right? Was about Oswald Chambers calls the valley of humiliation, and that's pretty scriptural. Those are the humble, contrite heart is the ones that He loves. You have to get into that humbleness place, and then God says, "Now, remember what happened on the mountain. Now live it out." It's easy to live it out up there. It's easy if you're a Dodger fan. Sorry, my Padres just got eliminated already. This is a baseball thing if you don't know. But if you do know, then you know. If you're a Padre fan, then you're used to it. So it's easy to be a Dodger fan because they won a lot of World Series. It's easy to be. There's a lot of what they call jump on the wagon. I'm gonna be a Chiefs fan now, or I'm gonna be right now it'd be Buffalo Bills and Philadelphia. It's easy to when you're winning and everything's going good. It's real easy to trust God. Blessed be your name when the sun's shining down on me, when the world's all as it should be. Blessed be your name. But then it says, but blessed be your name when I'm walking through the desert place, and yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, and hard things and terrible things happen, and 60 some people die in an earthquake, and somebody gets shot in the face, and horrible things happen, and you lose your 7-year-old nephew, and pain and suffering of life, or just like I said, normal things, you know, getting up every day and doing this, that, and the other, and then but that's where your true, what's it called? True courage, your true self. Are you really His? Will you follow me now? Okay, Peter. Everybody left. So Jesus had all these crowds. Of course, He had all these crowds. He fed 5,000. He fed 3,000. He feeds us, and then He healed. He heals us. Let's make Him king. Everybody wants to be with Jesus. Everybody wants to be with that Jesus. There's a lot of churches that are like prosperity churches, health and wealth. And money's pouring out, and good life, and everything's good. And anybody would want that, but then he starts telling them, he stops healing and doing that. He just goes into a somber mode, and he starts telling them, I'm gonna go die. It's time. It's over. Die. And he tells them, here, eat my body, drink my blood. And he starts telling them other hard things. Starts telling them hard things, and all of a sudden the crowds are gone. And then Peter says, Peter comes to him, and the Lord knows, he knows what's in Peter's heart. He goes, what about you? You too? Are you going to leave me too, Peter? Peter says, where else can I go? I experienced this. I'll close with this. I've told this story before, but it's good. It's good to share your life. I just did a video. It doesn't matter how I got saved. It matters to me, but it doesn't matter. In other words, that's not the only way. This is the only way. The way I got saved. If you don't do it my way, then the implication being maybe you're not a Christian, right? But I experienced some of this walking through the valley stuff back in the day, my previous marriage. And by the way, I know divorce is a sin, and I did not do it. It was done to me, and I did not. I was not. There was no sin involved on my part during this situation, just so you know, because I talk about it all the time. And I once had somebody ask me, well, why did? Because I didn't put it in my book because I was trying to, be respectful to my former wife. So I didn't want to put in there everything. But anyway, during that time, there came a point in my life. I was teaching at a Christian school. We had no money. We were struggling. We were barely making it, right? I worked at a Christian school. I also did tutoring on the side through a professional tutoring company, just so we could make ends meet. I was trying to go to school so I could get a credential, maybe, but things were not things were not fat for us. But we were surviving. But there came a time when my wife left me, took my daughter. The school was getting ready to close. The school was at that point not getting ready to close, but things were not well, and things were just bad, and I was crushed, and I felt neglected by God. It's a feeling I still get sometimes because I'm too dumb to let it go and just realize that he's sovereign. He just loves me anyway, regardless of not because of my circumstances, but in spite of my circumstances, I know that he loves me. But I was in a really bad place, and I was just crying out to God because I'm not a fake person. I tell people I get angry with God, and I have Christian friends who, what are you talking about? You must respect God. You can't be angry with him. You can't. Remember, curse God and die. Remember Job. Well, I don't curse him. I try not to ever use that word, curse words. But I was upset. I felt like, here's what I said: God, I've done everything for you. I live my life for you. I don't even have a decent job because I'm trying to serve you in this ministry at this school to teach these kids the Bible and teach them how to follow you. And and this is the reward I get, that I lose my family. Is that the reward I get for following you? I said, what's going on? I don't understand. All I've ever done is wanted to follow you since I got saved. I've been pretty on fire about it, Lord. What? And I felt like he said to Peter, and will you leave me too, David? Because she had left him. She left him, my ex. She left him. He said, will you leave me too, David? And I was cut to the chase, cut to the quick. No, Lord, where else can I go? You're my Lord and Savior. You're my life. And then I felt like at that moment that he helped me. But he literally helped me. No, but I felt like he helped me. He loved me, and he poured out his spirit into my spirit. I just felt the love of God in a powerful, very needed way. And I just knew that it was okay. Right? So that's it, guys. I don't really have anything to add to that. God bless you guys. Ta ta for now.